we go. Super excited. Never driven a first gen before. Feels like my car. This is very unexpected. Just initial impression feels exactly the same.
Wow.
Like exactly the same. Wow. This is going to be the most boring review ever. Just because, like, I don't really have much to say. Do I just turn around here?
Or you can go right.
Perfect.
Right here.
Yeah, the steering feels like mine.
So the short, cut, and dry, if you're looking for an LS400, first gen or second gen,
Yep.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just buy one.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Do you love this car, Joe?
I do. It's, I haven't owned it for very long, but every time I, get behind the wheel to go somewhere, I feel like I'm going to make it, to my destination, even though it's 33 years old, or 32, whatever.
Yeah.
It cruises. There's, like you said before, there's no drama.
Yeah. It's just a nice car. It drives great. I do hear that rattle.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is.
I just haven't taken apart. I'm sure there's just some sort of clip.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is the AC, immediately cold, hasn't been run at all today.
That's amazing. And the fan is like super duper.
Right.
I'm going to turn it down.
Sure.
Just for wind noise. But this feels awesome. Like, there's no drama. I feel like we could just keep going, Joe.
Right.
Like wherever we want to go.
The owner previous said right before I bought this, he drove it to Vegas. It was a summer day. He said out there in the desert it was over 100 degrees. Didn't overheat. Nothing happened. It was just fine.
Yeah, and that's what generally Lexus ownership is all about.
That's right.
It's about really nothing happening. And I think like with these cars, with the LSs, they're kind of just some key things that you want to make sure that you do in terms of maintenance and repairs, just to make sure that there's no problems. And from my experience, I would say like motor mounts, transmission mounts, get all of that freshened up, which it feels like in this car, they're good.
Yeah. Recently I had the auto transmission fluid, drain and filled.
Yep.
I had the rear diff fluid exchanged.
Oh, I got to do that.
Yeah. One thing I recently did was the thermostat housing was cracked, so it was leaking coolant onto the serpentine belt.
Yep.
So it was kind of squeaky, and so I replaced the housing, no more leak, and I replaced the serpentine belt, so no more squeak either.
Perfect.
And that was cheap. The parts are available.
Yep.
Still.
And of course, you want to do your timing belt on time, roughly. I'm due for one again. Do you mind if I do a little pull here?
Sure. Put it on power mode.
Oh yeah, there we go. So from 60, let's just see what. Man. That is not slow. That is not slow at all. That's rather quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty shocked with this car. I have to say, like, I thought it was going to feel kind of a bit sluggish, compared to my car.
Sure.
Just because, I have almost 50 more horsepower.
Right.
And it's newer, and it has a 5-speed transmission. But man, they got it right on the first try.
Yeah.
I
would say so.
This is really, and you'll notice like the steering is also like,
yeah,
very tight. Even though it is luxury, kind of loose, like
right.
It feels loose, but it's tight. And again, it's got the springy seats, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And that was something they upgraded yet again in version 2 in 1995. which was the generation before my car, but they went a step further with the seats, and you'll experience that, Joe.
Sure.
It's kind of neat. But man, the brakes feel kind of identical to mine. Does this car have the 4-piston calipers?
I'm not too sure about the brakes, honestly.
Yeah, actually, they're not quite. They don't feel quite as powerful as mine.
Yeah.
So I think mine has slightly bigger brakes, which it should have. Like when you add horsepower, you need to add brake.
Right.
You know?
And I don't know, because your car has bigger wheels even, so they could probably fit in bigger rotors.
Yeah, bigger rotors, bigger calipers too. What a lot of guys were doing, and I can't remember. I think with the, they were doing kind of like a Supra brake upgrade on other builds, and they would go to the junkyard and grab LS 400 calipers. Because it was kind of like, Supra brakes on a budget.
Sure.
Does this display work?
So this is one thing I've been meaning to replace, is that the climate control here works.
You just don't
However,
know.
the display, the LED, screen doesn't light up anymore.
It's just at an unknown temperature.
Yeah, so I just, if I want heat, I just press it until it stops beeping, and the direction up, and then, opposite for AC. But, you can find these climate control systems for these cars for about, like $40 online. Just something that I haven't gotten to yet.
Wow. Man, this doesn't feel 32 years old.
Definitely not.
I'm really... It definitely has the classic car look, but it doesn't have the classic car feel. It's just a nice car with a V8 and rear-wheel drive. One thing that enthusiasts like about, the version 1 and version 2 cars over my car, the 2.5, is, or version 3, I don't know what you want to call it. But these engines can actually handle boost. So you can actually turbo or supercharge these engines, and you can make some serious power. And my car is pretty much like, that's it. It's faster stock, but you can forget about mods.
Sure.
I'm sure somebody in the comment section is going to start screaming after what I just said, but as far as I've researched, that's what I know. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. Tell me.
Whenever I see a drift missile LS, it's usually first gen.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and they usually kind of rip the interior out.
Right.
I think my only issue with all of that, and of course, hey, it's cool, build whatever you want. That's what's fun about the car hobby, is we're all into our own thing, and there's room for everyone. But I think my only personal issue is, this is such a nice car to drive. It's so quiet, it's so smooth. Why would you ruin all of that?
Yeah, I'm not super into that. They spent 5 years developing this car to be, what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want a sports car, maybe buy a sports car and build that out. But, whatever. Hey, again, it's
to each their own.
I would love to drive a modded LS, too. If there's a drift missile that I could drive, hey, hit me up, drivendave1@gmail.com. Let's set something up. Our mutual friend Aiden was saying oh, you could put a T56 in it, and I was like, well, that would be great, but again, then it's harder to drive,
right.
This car is all about just kind of one finger driving and just being carried to your destination without any fuss. We're going 70 miles an hour here. The steering wheel isn't shaking. There's a little wind noise, but it's a super windy day.
If I close this here.
Yeah. Oh, that eliminates a lot of it, actually. Now it's pretty much just a little bit from the window.
Yeah.
But, man, awfully quiet, drama-free, squeak-free. Really kind of a boring review here. There's not much to say. Except if you're looking for one of these, get one. And I agonized over what year to get when I was looking for mine. And, after lots of research, I decided on the one that I got. I can turn here, I guess, right?
Yes.
And I decided on mine because of the VVTi. I wanted that horsepower, but now that I drive this, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really needed that, because this is plenty, and especially if you're not going to be tearing up the canyon roads and all that stuff. Like, this is fine. You just need a car that's going to be comfortable and quiet and reliable and get you around. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. It's proper old school luxury. I mean, even like the seating position is comfortable. I swear there's a little more headroom in your car than mine.
Huh. I have the seat all the way down.
Yeah, I do too.
Huh.
But yeah.
And it has the electric adjustments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
New cars don't come with that all the time.
No. Yeah, I mean, really everything in this car is kind of, the switch gear is slightly different, the shifter is slightly different, but everything's kind of in the same spot. It's just kind of, and I can see like why they kept kind of everything the same. So it's like, if you really liked owning your first gen and then you bought the second gen, you'd be like, oh, well, this is just like my old car, but slightly updated, which is a nice thing. All of this remained pretty much identical in my car, which is cool. I have the little floppy sun visor there, which is so quirky.
Yeah.
Hey,
I used it one time.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is, like, I've used mine.
Yeah.
Totally. There has been a need for it, as silly as it seems.
And of course, I feel like this feature was for, those businessmen in the 90s chain smoking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
you got your nice wood ashtray here. And,
yep.
They kind of did away with the smoker's window, which, Joe, I'm sure you're too young to remember. But, cars I grew up with had a little window here that you could crack open. And you could ash your smoke there.
Right.
Because everybody smoked back then. Well, what a treat to drive the OG, the Godfather. And you can really kind of feel the 1,400 engineers and the 2,400 technicians and the 60 designers. Like, you can feel all of that when you drive this car, and you can feel it when you drive my car as well. It's you can feel the 450 prototypes that they tested. And do you know when this particular car was manufactured, Joe?
I haven't checked the VIN, but most 90s were manufactured in 89.
So it's actually 33 years old, which is, as Derek from Vice Grip Garage says, it bottles the mind. It's incredible how nice this car is. But we'll have to check the door tag and see.
Sure.
See if it has the manufacturer date on it.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. Yeah, it's just so cool. As we get back to our parking spot here, we'll take a look at that door tag.
Oh yeah.
Man, the suspension feels so good too.
Yeah, I think they're original, suspension and everying. So.
I'm gonna say these can't be the original.
You don't think so?
No, it drives too nice. it just, because I had to replace my struts, and the car was a sloppy mess.
Yeah.
And it was a sloppy mess at 140,000. So I would, if I was a betting man, I would bet that these are replacements. And the door tag, where is the door? Oh, there it is.
Bit of sloppy camera work here for me. So.
That's okay. So it looks like January of 1990.
Okay.
Wow.
Very first month. All right.
Yeah. So it just celebrated its 32nd birthday. That's awesome. Well, Joe, thank you so much for letting me
course.
drive your car, and you know, it's just been an honor. So anyway, like I said, please like, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.